Now let's talk about what is happening on a brain level. When a person is suffering emotionally, they may have depression, anxiety, PTSD. The body perceives it as a stressor. When the body perceives a stressor, the stress response system is activated. The HPA axis, the hypothalamus-pituitary gland, and the adrenal axis, HPA. The hypothalamus releases a hormone that signals to the pituitary gland to send a message to the adrenal gland to produce cortisol. The pituitary gland releases a hormone, ACTH, that travels to the adrenal gland, and the adrenal glands are on top of your kidneys. And that adrenal gland produces cortisol as a response to the stressor. The problem with emotional pain is that the stressor does not have a beginning and an end. It tends to be ongoing. Therefore, the person who is suffering emotionally has the HPA axis overstimulated. The immune system is suppressed. Glucose is released in the body. The mood is affected because in hyper alert mode. It can be difficult to concentrate, and cognitive functioning and short-term memory can be impacted. I hope this shows you that we need to be careful to stop minimizing the pain behind suicidal thoughts and suicide, because on a brain level, physiologically, we can have trouble. There's an overproduction of cortisol. This is why many people who suffer emotionally have a high rate of, significant rate of cardiovascular disease and diabetes. The hyperstimulation of the HPA axis, which is the stress response syndrome of the body, stress response system of the body, causes there to even be resistance to insulin, which makes them more vulnerable to developing type 2 diabetes. This is not a science class, but I feel this is important to share this with you. Again, to help us to develop a new level of empathy and compassion for the person who is suffering emotionally. We have the brain, what's happened physiologically. We have the challenge with being able to use the right vocabulary. We also have this layer. This layer is when people are jumping to conclusions about the person who is suffering emotionally. This is when people assume that the person suffering emotionally is not strong enough. I often hear people say, if they had enough faith, they won't be suffering. That other person went through the same thing. What's the big deal? Not so much what's the big deal, why can't they work through it? Why do they need to see a therapist? Another erroneous narrative out there is that if the person is talking about their emotional pain, that they're an attention seeker. But what they're doing is they're struggling to find the vocabulary and they want support through it. They're actually giving you a gift when they talk about what they're going through, because they're showing that they're looking for support. I tell my patients all the time, thank you for sharing the gift of your life with me. I'm not the only therapist in the city. I'm not the only therapist on the insurance panel, but you chose to give me this gift of what you're going through, and I honor that gift. And I count it a privilege to be able to share, to work with you. I let them know that they're in the driver's seat of healing. Even with all my experience, I am not the expert of them. They are the expert of them. I did not go through what they went through. They went through it. So I am here to support them, to honor their pain, and to share the gift, and to treasure the gift that they shared with me. The gift of their pain. Acknowledging how difficult it is for them to go talk to a stranger about what they've been through. In some cases, I would even apologize to the person who is suffering if I talk about an issue that is too sensitive. And I'll say, can you give me, I see that you're overwhelmed by what I said. Did I say something that is not in line with what you are going through? What am I doing when I'm doing that? I'm letting them know that it's possible for me, with all these years of experience, to not be totally on point when I am giving them feedback or giving support. And I find that my patients appreciate that I'm respecting and showing compassion for their pain. Hi, thank you so much for checking out this clip. Please share, like, and subscribe to this channel so that you can view other episodes. Check us out on AskDrRola.com, where you find additional information about mental health and wellness. See you soon. Bye.